Hey guys, Crypt J 1958 here, coming back to give you another deck profile. Just bringing you one of the decks that I've had the most fun with over the last little bit. It is my Ninja deck. I'm gonna go over all the cards and kind of why I like them, why I prefer playing them versus other Ninja Lockdown decks. So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile here. So to start out, we are going to use 3 Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. If he is normal summoned, he searches in ninjutsu art. If he's special summoned, he searches a ninja from the deck to the hand, and that's what we're going to be using him mostly for, because that is not once per turn. So you can just keep getting him and keep getting him. The MVP of the deck is Dark Simorgh. That makes it so your opponent can't set any monsters, or any cards whatsoever, so no face downs. And that comes into play with a couple other cards later in the deck here, and he is actually very easy to get out. One of the ways to get him out is using our new yellow ninja. If he is normal summoned, he gets to special summon a level 4 lower ninja from your hand, but then you're locked into only special summoning ninjas from the extra deck. So that can kind of hinder a few plays, which is why I play him at 2. But because he is a wind, he makes it very easy to get Dark Simorgh out. I'm also running 3 Upstart Golden Ninja. He helps special summon from the deck to the field, so you can get ninjas on board pretty quickly. You just dump one of your traps that you don't need, and he's very good at getting your play started. I'm also going to run 2 Twilight Ninja Getsuga, and if there's a ninja on field, you can sacrifice 1 ninja instead of 2 to summon him, and you can target 2 ninjas in the graveyard, switch him into defense mode, and special summon those 2 ninjas. So he basically helps you swarm the field, and you can bring him out pretty easily with stuff like Call of the Haunted or some of the other cards in the deck. These next couple cards I actually use as a pure lockdown. So these work very well with Dark Simorgh, and it is Perform Pal, 5 Rainbow Magician. If he is in your Pendulum Zone, this works for both you and your opponent. If you have no set cards in your spell and trap card zone, and the field zone does not count as spell or trap card, then your monsters cannot attack or activate effects. This doesn't stop effects that activate in grave or in hand, but it does stop quite a bit of effects. But remember, that does count against you as well. So you want to make sure that you always have a set card, just to make sure that you can still attack and use your effects. And that is it for the monster lineup. Let's get into the spells. So spells, we're running 3 Ninjutsu Art. The Hidden Village in Ninjutsu Art. It has built-in protection. You can banish a ninja to protect your ninjas or ninjutsu art cards. And if a ninja is summoned or special summoned, then you can add a ninja or ninjutsu art from the graveyard to the hand, so it helps recycle. Also run 3 Armor Ninjutsu Art of Alchemy. It's basically a pot of greed. It destroys your ninjutsu art cards on the field and then lets you draw 2. Usually I'm able to get to the cards that I need pretty quickly. Running 3 Rogue Legacy Successions. We do have a lot of Link monsters and a lot of plays that involve the Link monsters, so being able to get access to cards like Grandmaster Hanzo or Getsuga to keep your plays going is really important. I also run 2 Scapegoat, just because sometimes you need the extra protection, and it's easy to get some of your extra deck going. 2 Ninjutsu Art Notebook. This card I really have never been able to use properly. There's really only been a couple times where I've actually used it to set any of my ninjutsu art cards to get out Dark Simorgh, and that's going to be your main play. Usually I'll use it if I already have a ninjutsu art alchemy in my hand, or I'll use it to get a ninjutsu art alchemy just so I can get that draw 2. And then we're going to go into our 1-ofs. Reinforcement of the Army, Foolish Burial. If we use that to dump our Perform Pal into the graveyard, its monster effect is if you or your opponent sets a card, you can activate it straight from the graveyard and put it in your Pendulum Zone. So we use that to dump him. Monster Born, Soul Charge, And that rounds up our spells. Then we're going to traps. We got 2 Ninja Art of Transformation. And that's how we're getting our Dark Simorgh out. You can tribute a ninja monster and then get a winged beast that's the same level or 3 levels higher than the monster you tributed. So Dark Simorgh is 7. Most of our ninjas are level 4, so it works out. Also running 3 anti-spell fragrance, and what that does is they can't play spells unless they set it for a turn, and with Dark Simorgh they can't set, so it basically locks them out of any spell plays. Then we're running 3 Call the Haunted, just so we can get our monsters back. It's also good for getting Getsuga out of the graveyard. It just really helps extend plays. And the last card we have is 1 Ninjutsu Art of Shadow Sealing. Usually this is more of a late game, or if you go second, just because a lot of decks nowadays are trying to get monsters into the extra deck zone, or the extra monster zone. So you can use that to banish the card that they have in the extra monster zone, and then it locks that that zone from being able to be used. So if you can get your link monster or another monster into the other extra deck or extra monster zone, you basically lock your opponent out of any extra deck monsters that they may have. So it's really good. I may switch that up to 2. I just really haven't used it as much as I thought I would. But that rounds up the traps. So let's go into the extra deck. So I am missing 1 card in the extra deck. I am currently trying to get a Boral Sword Dragon. Those are very difficult to get and they're pretty expensive, and I don't quite have enough for it. But here's what I have so far. Running 2 Ninja Grandmaster Saizo. And he has built-in protection. If he points to a monster, he can't be destroyed or targeted. And then he also lets you set a ninjutsu art card directly from your deck to the field. So it's really good at getting your ninjutsu art transformation out, or any of the or the field card or anything like that. For your scapegoat plays, we have Link Spider, Link Karibo, Phoenix, Cerberus, and then Borreload, and eventually a Boral Sword if I can get it. I'm also running 1 Unicorn, and that wraps up the Link monsters. Our other ninja is Blade Armor Ninja. Usually I'll pull him out just to make sure I can OTK my opponent. What it does is you detach, target a ninja monster, and they can attack twice. He actually has the highest attack out of all of our ninjas that we're running right now. So usually I use him to target himself, and he attacks twice, and that's usually I'm able to wipe out their life points. I'm also running Tornado Dragon, Abyss Dweller, Castell, and then just to be a little cheeky, I'm using Dreadnought Dreadnoid. If you can get 3 or even 4 materials under him, he destroys a card, then you can use him as material for a rank 10 or higher machine monster, and that's where we bring out our Super Quantum Mech King. With that many materials, he's basically going to be unaffected by everything. So I've really only pulled him out a couple of times, but it's still a fun play to have access to, just because sometimes your main play getting Dark Simorgh and establishing that lockout doesn't quite work the way you want it to. So it's nice to have a backup plan that way. And that takes care of extra deck. Of course, don't forget the tokens for the scapegoat plays. Then we'll go off to our side deck. The side deck, I didn't tailor it to any certain matchup. What I did is I just tried to make it so I could switch my ninja lock down to either make it easier to lock down or turn it into a ninja, more of a ninja beatdown deck. So here's what I have so far. We have Ninjutsu Art of Mirage Transformation, Ninjutsu Art of Rust Mist, Dark Hole, 2 Kagan, 2 Jogan, Yellow Dragon Ninja, Red Dragon Ninja, White Dragon Ninja. I'm also using a second Dark Simorgh, Mist Valley Apex Avian, which is, as a negate a negate effect. I've seen some people run it with Firewall, because if you do it that way and it's pointing to Firewall, it returns itself back to the hand to negate, and then Wall's effect kicks in, and you can special summon it right back. So with that setup, you can do infinite negates. I really haven't found a way to be able to bring out Firewall or any Link 4 consistently, so I don't currently use that, but having him in there just as another target for Ninjutsu Art of Transformation, and that free negate is also pretty nice. The next card I have in here is an interesting card. Not a whole lot of people know what it does, and that is Contact C. And what this does is when your opponent normal summons or special summons a monster, you summon that to their side of the field, and they're not allowed to link, synchro, exes. They're not allowed to do any of that unless they use Contact C. So a lot of decks that can stop in their tracks depending on what they're trying to do. Use that against Goki, they're not able to get into Ice Hold as easily, or some of their other plays, and I know Sky Striker has a hard time with it just because they're not able to get their Kagari or anything out, so that's why I run that. But that is it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, this is probably one of the most fun decks I've had the pleasure of playing with. I've been testing it both in person and online, and I've had a lot of fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll come back with more profiles. You guys have a great day.